How y'all doing? And thanks for tuning in to Wicked Warnings, your number one source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment for cars, vans, buses, bicycles, tricycles, SUVs, lead sleds, motorcycles, wheelchairs, golf carts. Yeah, I said golf carts. And real nice 2022 STX F-250 single cab long bed Super Duties, like what you're looking at right here. This is a reoccurring client for us over at Homer Highway Township. Want to give a shout out for them if you need anything done. Them guys are excellent at what they do, where they do it, over here in Illinois. This truck here, primarily duty, going to be a plow truck in the winter. Got that big boss rack hanging under the bumper. Probably going to get some form of a salter in the back. And during the summer months, it's going to be road maintenance, etc. Anything they really need it for. Just a general all-around duty truck. So what we went with here on the front grille was 4 of our dual color mpower 3-inch lights. That's the 3-inch mpower 3 in amber white. That's an adhesive mount light, so you only need to drill 1 hole. And in the location that we put it in, you can get 4 in quite nicely to do this X pattern that you see here. Now that X pattern right there, that's called intercycle. And 2 of them are alternate phase and alternate color. So that's how you get that particular pattern right there, and all 4 are indeed synchronized together. There's a little clear forward shot of what we did there. Now right above it on the passenger side, tucked up high, you can see our dual head amber white windshield light. Now we went ahead and did some 3M VHB Velcro mount. If you're familiar with iPass or Easy Pass, that's kind of the same dual lock Velcro that we use when we mount that particular light. Works very well. It does come with suction cups, however, if you didn't want to use the dual lock Velcro. And we elected to tuck that up high and tight on the passenger side because, honestly, for the most part, as a plow driver myself, and if you're a plow driver, drop a comment, let me know if you agree, most of the time that windshield light's probably going to be off. We also did not hardwire that windshield light into the auxiliary switches. We took off the A-pillar. We ran it down the windshield side of the A-pillar, keeping it clear from all of the airbags. We did not just tuck it under the rubber gasket by the door. Remove the A-pillar with 2 10mm bolts under the grab handle covers, and you can put that wire into the channel that Ford uses, so when you have any airbag activation, you don't hinder it with a wire. So we removed the A-pillar, we ran the wire down right behind the glove box, and we ran the cigarette cord that's on it into the dashboard switch. That gives the driver of this truck the ability to control that windshield light totally separate and retains his pattern switch on the cigarette lighter adapter. If they ever needed to push the windshield light out to a different vehicle as a loaner, they could do that too. Simply pop it out with 2 10mm bolts. Very easy to do. Alrighty, so as we look at the side of the truck, you can see underneath the side of the taillight there, a very popular spot. I always put lights there, works very well. The request on this truck was that all rear-facing lighting be amber flashing, but also have the ability to steady white flood. Now, not every light can do both of those features. So several of our lights can do amber white flashing and a white flood, but they can't be set on amber only. So what we used here was in the badges an amber white Thin-X, which allows you to flash only the amber and retain the steady white override. So that's no problem with our Thin-X light. Now underneath the tail light in the back, we switched over to our mpower. We've used a T3 there before, and a Lin 6 and a Lin 8, all great lights. But for this request, the amber only flashing with the steady white override, we needed to go to the 3-inch mpower for the side of the tail lights. And there you can see with the steady white on what we're going to get. That gives this truck a little bit of a dual usage. We didn't bother to do that in the grille. There was no real need to steady the grille. However, we could have. It's an amber white mpower, so if you wanted to steady the grille also on your version, no big deal. You could totally do it. The pattern we went with in the back, we had to use table 2 on the sound off mpower. Sound off mpower is a pretty advanced light, so you're going to need to learn how it works and read the instructions, but that rear set pattern is on table 2. And as you can see, we get a nice flood out of the Thin-X and a nice bright white flood out of the mpower, and the flood white will work even if the warning was off. It'll override the warning if it happens to be on, but it'll also work if the warning is off. Alrighty, moving to the back of the truck, what I haven't talked about yet is our Thin-X strip 15.5 inch underneath the tailgate. Another light that's fully capable of amber only warning with a steady white override. And above that, we have our 4-inch mpower light with a 35-degree wedge. We mounted that directly to the roof of this truck by drilling 2 small holes and using the included 3M VHB adhesive mount. And we did run a very small bead of RTV sealant right across the top of that light just to help with all the snow and slop that we get here in Chicago. But otherwise, we mounted it with that 35-degree wedge and put that light right up on top there, about 8 inches or so away from the third brake light. Alrighty, now I shut down the flood to show you what we did for our pattern back here. Up on the top, you can see we mimicked that inner cycle pattern that we used in the grill. I'm a fan of that pattern. I like it, it's effective. It does a triple flash alternation right now and then goes to a single flash back and forth at a higher speed. It's just an all-around good pattern. Below it, with our Thin-X strips, we wanted to give the brightest, boldest flash of amber that we could. So we selected a solid full strip alternation. That's a triple flash. It's going 3 flashes, just a little hard to pick them all up. This camera's actually doing pretty good at that. As you can see, alternation. Now, if you wanted to split each light, the light is capable of a split pattern where the light wouldn't actually go totally dark. So if you prefer a split pattern on your Thin-X, you can do that as well. And as I said, you can flash the white light, the amber light, the combination of both, and you can also steady override the white as we have done on this one. Here's a little off-angle shot for you. Now, we went with just a single flash, extremely fast pattern. I don't remember the name of the pattern on the back, but it's just the single flash, very fast pattern. And that's what we did for the side-facing mpower lights. We mimicked that with another single flash fast pattern on the badge light. As you can see, the badge and the side, both of those lights are just on a rapid single flash. I like the setup. I think it's going to work out well. The high alternation, the way it does, works out really well. As does that kickin' X pattern up here in the grill. Everybody seems to be a fan of the X pattern. So, thanks again for watching Wicked Warnings, your #1 source for construction and emergency safety strobe lighting equipment.